What's up? I'm Tyler Duffus from mixedworship.com, and in this video I'm going to show you a little bit of how I've been using Wave's new processor, Curves Resolve, on my broadcast mix template. Before we get too far into it, be sure to like and subscribe, hit that little notification icon guy. You can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Also be sure to check out mixedworship.com for drum samples, mix templates, Pro Tools and Studio One licenses, as well as my Waves presets coming soon. And also be sure to check out tylerduffusmixing.com for mixing and mastering services from me. Finally, be sure to use the links in the description below. That just helps me be able to continue to create content like this for you. So let's get into this. This new processor it's like a really detailed dynamic ducker. Like, it's more than like a multi-band ducking solution, because the way that it sidechains, you can get really precise and really specific frequency dependent ducking. So the way that I am using it, and right here I've got what I'm working on to be the version 2 of the Mixed Worship template. I have this on my music bus, which is basically my bass, acoustic, guitars, keys, all that fun stuff. So over here, I have my vocal channels, and I've got a bus setup post fader going to, we got bus 3, and that's going to the side chain of Curves Resolve. I've also got a little bit of kick and snare also going to this. I'm not sure I'm married to that idea yet. Still playing with it a little bit. But okay, so this is what we've got on this plugin. At the top, you've got your sidechain. You've got a learn function. So basically, this learns the sidechain, the incoming sidechain signal, and kind of creates a profile. And what that has to do with is down here, you've got dynamic versus steady. And this is just blending how reactive the compressor or the processor is to the live incoming sidechain, or to, which is the dynamic setting, or to steady, which is then it's just going based off of the profile that it learned earlier. So really fast, let's create our profile. So we'll go ahead and hit learn. Play. Once it hits stop, we can hit stop. So now we have a profile scan in. You also have the option to be able to EQ the sidechain coming in inside this processor. So you've got high pass and low pass filters, as well as you've got 3 different EQ tilt curves. So high is emphasizing boosting the high frequencies coming in so that the processor is a little bit more reactive to the higher frequencies. Low is the lower frequencies being more reactive. And then just this middle one, my understanding is it's a smiley face or a frowny face, depending upon how you use this gain. And over here you have your center frequency, which is where the tilt starts one way or the other. So let's hear what this little guy does. You could do a lot of damage really fast with this plugin if you don't use it right. I like to run it a lot more subtly. So one of the things that I do a lot of times on studio mixes is I will create this network of side chains and compressors on things like bass and guitars, and have specific elements going to several compressors. And basically the purpose is to just create just a little bit of space around each element that I want to have a little bit more presence depending upon when and where. Now, I'm sure many of you are like, Tyler, why don't you just automate that? You're right. I could do that. I like it because I'm only doing like a dB or two, maybe a gain reduction. So it just kind of makes the whole mix like groove together a little bit in a way that I really like. And so I am kind of using this processor in a similar way, except for I don't have to set up 87 different side chains. I'm mostly just thinking about the vocals and the kick and the snare and creating a little bit of space where the music kind of wraps around the vocals, but the vocals are always kind of front and center. So and one of the things that I found with this is, especially with the vocals, it gets to be a little bit more reactive in like the lows and low mids. So for my purposes, I'm going to use this high function, and I've already got about 4 dB boosted going into it with a center frequency of 1500-ish. So you can see up here, this is your gain reduction. You can also see it right here. And then these little lines are kind of like your threshold. So this can emphasize how much in each of these bands it starts compressing. Then down here in your advanced controls, you've got attack, release, and precision. So what precision is, so the lower the number, the wider the frequency bands for what is being ducked. And the higher the number, the more surgical. So you can get pretty precise with this. I think I personally like doing the lower number better. It's a little bit smoother. And it just feels more musical, more natural. Over here, you have just some presets for that sidechain content coming in. I just leave it on full range. And then you also have a handy dandy auto makeup. So let's take a listen and see what this little guy is doing when we're using it at a more reasonable level. Vocals just kind of feel just a little bit more buried when I bypass this. This feels a little bit more natural to me, and the vocal still feels clear, but it feels like embedded in the mix. So one could say, Tyler, why wouldn't you just like scoop out a little bit more of the low or low mids on those individual channels? And the reason why I don't want to do that is because when the vocal's not going, I want those frequencies. And that's a lot of channels for me to write an EQ on, especially for a broadcast mix, or if you've got volunteers using this or whatever. So this is a way for me to have just a little bit of additional control over those frequencies without having to think about it. And so when your vocal comes in, it creates that little bit of extra space to give that vocal a little bit more volume without actually giving it more volume. And then when the vocal comes out, it makes it so that those frequencies can kind of expand back into the mix subtly, musically, so that you don't lose that fullness between lines, between verses, that sort of thing. So that's what I'm using this for. And I think Waves is created a pretty cool processor with this. And again, it's a little bit more precise, and it feels a little bit more musical than a traditional multi-band ducker. So just to kind of give you an idea, let's try these different EQs out. the smiley face. What happens if we go negative? So for my purposes, I definitely think I like doing that high tilt by a couple dB because it just evens out the overall signal that's coming in. So that is how I'm using Waves Curves Resolve on my broadcast mix template for a little bit of subtle space making for vocals. I'm using the Curves Resolve Live version of the plugin. So it's super low latency. You can use it on the LV1. They also have the regular version for like post mixing, which is a little bit higher latency and it's got some more functionality. But I just wanted to show you this and how I'm using it for live broadcast mixing. The sweet jam for this video has been ministered to you from First Love Revolution Church, where I'm the production director, and it's not released yet, but you can check out their YouTube and website to be able to hear music like this, as well as other originals that will be coming out in the future. I hope this video was helpful. I hope you enjoyed it. Be sure to use the links in the description below, as well as check out mixworship.com and tylerduffismixing.com, and give me a like, subscribe, find me on Facebook and Instagram, and I hope you have a good day.